This Albion Online video is about how you can increase the silver per hour you make while gathering by creating your own little MS Paint resource map. So every time that I find a resource, and you can see me doing this here in the video, I make a little marker on my MS Paint map. What I did was I opened my map, I took a screenshot, I pasted it into MS Paint, and every time I find, 4 or more resources in a small area, I draw a colored circle on it and write the number down. And this process takes a little bit of time, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how long it takes for me to map out an entire region. In this video, I am mapping out fiber, so I'm not mapping out mining nodes or animals or anything of the sort. I'm simply running around the entire map, triple and quadruple checking everywhere for fiber nodes. And when I find a big cluster, I put it on the map. And it takes me, I'll spoil it, it takes me about an hour and 13 minutes to do. And I also, because I'm gathering while I'm doing it, I share how much silver I made doing that. And then what I do is, after this, I take a 30-minute test run using the map to show just how much more silver per hour I can make doing this. And it is a substantial amount. It's around 250 to 300,000 additional silver per hour when using your own created map. Now, the thing with resources in Albion Online is every day upon server reset, the resources change a little bit, but it's not like they are fully randomized in the entire zone. Instead, the clusters are randomized. So, like the 5 and 6 and 4 clusters on my map today might be 3, 4, or 5 clusters instead, and sometimes they might not even be there, and a few other areas might have clusters instead, but over time, you're going to learn which areas of the map have profit, or which areas of the map are rich in resources, and what areas of the map to avoid or to not bother looking at. So, this is something you have to do over additional days, but if you're going to be doing a very long amount of gathering in a zone, for instance, if you're going to gather 8 to 12 hours in one day, and you're going to stick in the same zone and gather the same resource, spending at least 1 hour of those 12 hours mapping it out is absolutely worth it. Now, this is something that I did on my channel a long time ago for all the resources around Bridgewatch. However, those videos are now out of date because of the recent patches and the recent world changes, and the fact that one of the patches has made dynamic spawning a thing, which means you have to either play during prime time and you will get more loot, whereas if you play during off hours, there is less loot to be had. Now, I'm mapping this during off hours, which means that you could expect more, plentiful loot when it's prime time. But it is what it is, and you can see here that my map is starting to get filled out as I continue to discover more resources. And, some maps are not as good as other maps. Now, for me personally, I just want to gather in a Tier 4 blue zone because it's the most profit, and this happens to be the closest Tier 4 blue zone next to Bridgewatch that isn't immediately outside of town. So I chose this map to map. I might have to choose other maps to, figure out and see if they're more plentiful or not. And, my findings on this map is that the Tier 2 resources, which is cotton in this case, is not nearly as plentiful as other maps, but this map is decent for Tier 3 and Tier 4 materials. So, again, I show the map, I show the results of how long it takes to farm this, and then I do a 30-minute test using the map that I've filled out to show just how more efficient you can be with your gathering. And honestly, if you are a career gatherer in Albion Online, mapping out your favorite zone should be something that you always do. And what's weird to me is that no one has like a website where they've already done this. Any other major MMORPG fan site would have something akin to having a programmer run a program that scans the screen and maps out all the resource nodes. But no one has done that for this game. Either it's too niche or they don't want to share that info so they can have the edge over other gatherers. I don't know what the deal is. But with the massive rise of radar hackers and cheaters. This is one of the only way us legitimate players can kind of increase our performance and our efficiency, so to speak. But, you know, if you decide to just continue gathering in maps and try to memorize all the spots, there's no way you're going to be nearly as efficient as using a map that you yourself create. You're also free to just use my map. Now, I have tested, because I recorded this on West, or the Americas server, I have went to Asia and Europe, and the node spawns are very similar. So, if you want to use my map, that is absolutely fine. However, it will be slightly different day to day. Just note that if you go to like a 6-node spawn, you know, on a different day, it might be a 4-node spawn or even a 3-node spawn, or there just might be nothing there at all. But if you come back a few days later, it's going to rotate around, and eventually you're going to find, you know, that 6-node spawn on a different day is also a 6-node spawn. So here, this is the run on screen right now, is the one that I'm just using the map that I made. And you can see that I am just going straight to all the high yield, big resource nodes. You can see lots of big clusters here. And unfortunately, this map, like, I'm so fat because I'm tier 8 and I'm using tier 8 tools with a very fast mount. Like, the nodes can't respawn at full yield, at least the tier 4 ones. The tier 4 nodes are not spawning at full yield by the time I do an entire lap around the map. And so the efficiency is a little bit dwindled there, because tier 3 nodes and tier 2 nodes, especially tier 2 nodes, respawn at a much faster rate than tier 4 nodes. However, tier 4 nodes are what complete journals faster, and tier 4 nodes have the ability to drop learning tomes, or gathering tomes, whatever you want to call them. Now, in this specific run, I didn't actually bring enough journals to fill, so I lost out on some silver per hour there, but it's still, I'm going to spoil it for you, it's still over 1 million silver per hour, even factoring in the cost of repairs. So when people say that you can't gather fiber from Bridgewatch in a tier 4 blue zone and make 1 million silver per hour, you absolutely can, and I prove it in this video. I did not get any 0.3 nodes. I barely got any 0.2 nodes. I didn't get any learning tomes, and I'm still able to push 1 million silver per hour. And people are always asking, how do you do it? Because when I do it, I make 300k. Well, let me tell you. The first run I did was 300k because I was busy mapping it out. But once I have the zone mapped out, it's basically doubled, okay? And with that said, leave a like, leave a comment, click the video on the right side of your screen, and if you don't, the next time Christmas comes around, you're not going to get as cool gifts as you got this year, I guess. But yeah, that's all I have for you. See you later.